Yep, this is program 1096. First couple of hundred per shows, I taught real basic astrology. And now up in shows 1,000. 1,000 weeks I've been doing this. Wow. I don't teach too much basic stuff. I just kind of let it happen. I figure you'll pick it up as we go along. So if it seems over technical to you, don't worry. Just go along. We're going to cover the first 10 days in December 2017. And they definitely have flavors, these time periods. One of them that happens is you're about to have a full moon. This full moon is at about 12 degrees of Gemini, which means it squares Neptune. And Neptune just slowed down and stopped at the end of November. So Neptune's very strong. Neptune has to do with liquids, water, flooding, chemicals, deception, thieveries. So you're going to be up to your necks in all kinds of Neptune stuff. I don't know how they could put more crazy ads about doctors and drugs and stuff. It just saturates television now. But you're probably going to get awful tired of it. So what do we got? We've got a full moon that covers the whole month of December, squaring Neptune, and we're going to have problems with liquids and flooding and rain and stuff like that for the next month, the month of December. Lots of water, too much water in the wrong place. That's what December is all about. So there's some other significant flavors to this time period. One is we got Mercury stationing and going retrograde Saturday night at 9:35 p.m. Yeah, the coming Saturday for you, December 2nd. Mercury stops. And when Mercury stops, it stops right there. There we are, Mercury stopping at 29 Sag. And guess who's also there? Saturn at 29. So we got Mercury slowing down and stopping right on Saturn. This is very unusual. Now Saturn has a reputation, especially in the winter. He crystallizes things. These could be guys trying to make laws and crystallize and pour it into cement. Cement is crystallizing something. Ice, snow is crystallized water. So when Saturn's really hitting, everybody gets judgmental. A lot of stuff freezes. You're going to see. Now Mercury stopping on Saturn could stop the wind. And some places could get really cold. There's a story about Kepler, who was just an assistant to a famous astrologer. But he had to fill in once and write some of the almanac for the year. He noticed Saturn misbehaving. He said, extra cold the last 2 weeks of May or April or something, and it's going to be very cold because Saturn blocked Mars' heat. Anyway, he wrote a friend, Kepler did, and said, I'm amazed, I made a good prediction. He said somebody came in from outdoors and blew their nose, and their nose fell off. Their nose had frozen right on their face. So Saturn can be pretty scary when he gets really cold. And so can the judge when the judge starts to pronounce things. And Saturn is going to speak out, because here's Mercury, the guy who takes the words from one god to the other, stopping on Saturn. Saying, come on, give me some messages. Now, there's a lot of background to this. And whatever freezing or whatever Saturn or rules or scariness comes up, around the first, second, third of December, with Saturn there, it's going to get accented a whole bunch. A month of floods, December. Yeah, the accent comes up because there's a new moon at 26 Sag on December 18th. Halfway through December, we have a new moon at 26 Sag. Did he say 26 Sag? And there's Saturn at 28, and it's the retrograde. Yeah. So after Mercury stops on the Judge, we have a new moon on the Judge on Saturn, and we could have a renewed cold spell. This goes from December 18th right up to January 16th. I mean, this new moon is like a trigger for Saturn. Things are going to crystallize, cold ice, probably like we haven't seen it. It's the opposite, the climate change stuff, huh? Makes some places super cold, some super hot. Now, Saturn is famous, of course, for, just like Mercury, goes up, stops, takes a loop back, and goes off. The stopping points are important. And then it goes back and stops and goes up and finishes. So when I look back to see where Saturn was when it stopped, and it wound up being April 6th, 2017. Saturn stopped at 27 Sag 48. So a lot of things that started there, if the Judge said this, or the laws, or that, or you know, the downfall of politicians or CEOs or whatever. So this Saturn station at the same place in the sky at 28 degrees Sag. Now Mercury's going to speak out first few days in December about these matters. Maybe some stuff that started clear back here in April. And then we're going to have a new moon in the middle of December that's going to accent the heck out of this Saturn business. Kind of, maybe, hopefully, you know, it'll finish up all this stuff that Saturn's been cooking up since April 2017. But stopping in the middle of winter, having a Mercury retrograde and then a new moon, wow, it's going to be cold. There's going to be ice and snow. The ice starts after the new moon, December 18th. The water flooding starts on December 2nd, goes all through. So the first 2 weeks of December, it's water. And then after the middle of December, once that new moon clicks in, it's not water anymore, it's ice. Yeah. Okay. Weather predictions. Ben Franklin loved them. He did a lot of weather predictions in his almanac. And that was a big thing for all the astrologers. A lot of them made money with almanacs. Poor Richard was a copy of Poor Robin's, the most popular almanac in Europe. That's how Ben Franklin got so famous in Europe. It was his astrology and his almanac. Yep, he taught it for 20 years, kind of like I'm doing. My chart's very similar to Ben's, and it's very suspicious. Not just similar, almost identical. He's born on my birthday. You know, he has the moon in Virgo and Venus in Capricorn, and I won't bore you with it, but the spirit of Ben is always around me somehow. So, the weather. Ben said, now sometimes I'm off a little bit on the weather. He says, I don't try to just say it's cold in the north, warm in the south. I'm going to try to do it right where you are. He says, all I ask is that you give me a couple days this way, a couple days that way. A little sloppiness is necessary. And if we're further off than that, he said it's a technical error. It's the fault of the printer. He made a mistake somehow. Of course, the printer was Ben Franklin. Ha, ha, ha. Anyway, prediction of the weather was a big thing. That's what almanacs did. So if you said, oh, it's going to freezing stuff is going to happen here after the new moon, December 18th, right, 1st of January, ice that's really unusually bad. He would put that in an almanac and it'd be on everybody's shelf for years. So he was careful about what he said. So am I. It's not easy, though. What do we got here? We got Mars creeping up here, opposing Uranus. Mars is heat. Uranus is wind. Uranus is electrical things, airplanes, trains, machinery that goes around, motors. Mars is heat. Mars is fighting. Mars is aggression. So Mars is stumbling in to take on Uranus. Not good. Not good at all. There's going to be some sudden road rage things over the stuff we share is our driving out on the road, huh? That's where the fire and the anger is going to be lots of times. So keep an eye on this. It's happening at 25 degrees. Libra Aries, and it'll hit Cancer Capricorn. Yeah, what else you got? Oh, Jupiter is here trining Neptune. We may finally get some truth about Neptune stuff. Some of the sneaky things that have been going on. The deception. Hillary decepted the Democrats and ousted Bernie. And then the Russians helped Trump, decept Hillary and got the presidency. And the whole thing, the deception is so thick, wow, hard to breathe. I had to stop a whole bunch of people spraying Roundup and going in my house. And my voice is getting better and my lungs are getting better now. But it wasn't easy to stop the Neptune. Try and stop the oil industry from drilling up your world and burning more coal. This is Neptune stuff. Our nation is addicted to it. Like the crazy medical drug thing. Crazy oil chemical thing. Same thing, Neptune. Well, the sun is squaring Neptune the next few days. Just 2-3 days from where you are now. And there'll be some bad smells around. But Jupiter's trining it, and maybe some lawyers and professors will uncover the truth of the deceptions. Well, a lot of background there, huh? Let's get on with it. We want to find out what's happening day by day. We're going to run the moon around the edge of the planetary pattern. These planets are just the people in your life, Saturn's the judge, Jupiter's the lawyer, Mars is the athlete, Neptune, the priest, artist, doctor. So these guys, as the moon goes around the edge here, makes angles to them, and that generates the mood of the times. It's not your chart now. It's the generic chart. So, where are we here? If you're on a Thursday night show, the moon's in Taurus, early Taurus, and you're getting some faith back with Neptune. Friday morning is kind of dreamy. The moon sextiles Neptune, but it opposes Jupiter. What? Lawyers and professors? They want to take away the church's tax exemption? Horrors, Friday. First comes the faith, then comes anger at Jupiter, lawyers and professors. All in Friday morning, served you up for breakfast, didn't they? In the middle of the day, the moon trines Pluto. There's good investigations. Yeah, Sherlock Holmes is out. See what comes up Friday afternoon. Saturday morning, the moon's still in Taurus. And here's the opposition to Venus. No, she got out of bed before she felt sexy. That's Venus. On this particular Saturday morning, there isn't a lot of rest or sugar here. I wouldn't even try. Middle of the day, Saturday, the moon shifts out of Taurus, goes into Gemini. Now you're in the full moon zone. The full moon is right here. Late Saturday, early Sunday morning, we have a full moon squaring Neptune. Sunday morning, it's going to be confusion. The music's too loud. There's water in the wrong places. Boy, are we in for it. Neptune has a lot to do with religion, art, music, liquids, booze, drugs, doctors. I call him doctor, priest, artist, musician for good reason. He's always very sparkly, he's like very glamorous. But he's going to have a tough time. Full moon squaring him. None of those Neptune things are going to go well for a while. So it really starts Saturday night. Watch out for your liquids and go through Sunday. And by you go through Saturday and Sunday, you'll have a much better idea of how Neptune's treating you in your chart. How does 11 Pisces set up for you? There's 11 Gemini and 11 Sag. 11-degree full moon in mutable signs. Well, you're still feeling the confusion of it all the way through Sunday. Late Sunday, early Monday morning, here's a trine to Mars and a sextile to Uranus, and there's heroes out, first responders, independent, free-thinking citizens are kind of helping some of the flood victims out late Sunday night. Early Monday, the moon's still in Gemini at first, and oh my God, here's the opposition to Saturn. And rules and regulations are stopping us. They're killing more ravens under a bad law. And here's Mercury squawking, kill those birds, throw those old people out, make laws, restrict everybody, more lines, more signs, more stop signals on the road. Oh, when will we ever learn? That's the theme Monday morning, December 4th. In the afternoon, the moon shifts into Cancer. The vibes all change. It starts to mellow out. Tuesday morning, here's a trine to Neptune, and we could regain some faith. A trine to Jupiter. Oh, there's some truth out there. And then Tuesday afternoon, here's the opposition to Pluto. The detective said, you can't do that. The cops, the Sherlock Holmes, the guys with the guns are there. Pay attention. Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday night, here's the moon squaring Uranus and Mars. First responders are having a tough time. They're beating up on homeless people. A lot of rage, a lot of road rage out there. So it starts Tuesday afternoon when people say, don't tell me what to do, moon opposing Pluto, and goes to the square to Uranus and Mars. Well, a lot of heat here, but it can't come out because the wind is there. Wednesday, moon's still in Cancer till you get to brunch before breakfast and lunch. It shifts into Leo. All the vibes change again. Leo is not too bad through Wednesday. Thursday morning, here's a square to Jupiter. We're overdoing it all. But Thursday afternoon, the moon goes by the north node, trines the sun. There's a lot of nurturing. Fathers are taking care of things. Everybody is being motherly. Thursday, in the middle of the day and the afternoon. Not too bad. Continues through Friday till the middle of the day. The moon shifts into Virgo. Once you're in Virgo, you're subject to that full moon square Neptune. Friday night, here's the moon squaring Venus. No pleasure, no sweets, no sex. I wouldn't play with it if I were you. This is 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning, Saturday morning. No peace. Saturday the 9th, the moon's still in Virgo, and it opposes Neptune here in the middle of the day, and hits that full moon square. So there's flooding, more rain. It won't stop raining. The river's going the wrong way. The pipes burst. There's all this stuff going on over liquids. And it's all exaggerated problems with chemicals and liquids and Neptune. Crazy. Neptune people believe in things like those. I don't believe in global warming. Believe? What happened to science, Uranus? You gotta believe what the preacher says, huh? Look out. You notice they're shooting up churches a lot. It's very interesting. In the Bible Belt. Well, the moon squares the sun. You won't get much done Saturday night. No. Can't fix things. Too much water. Sunday, still feel it. Finally gets difficult. Can't get around. Sunday afternoon and evening. Restrictions on communication and transportation. Neptune giving us troubles and making a fuss. After, what's better, water or ice? Wait till that new moon on December 18th, then we'll have ice.